So introduce the Book of Henry. I mean, for a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the story.
The Book of Henry is about it's a question of whether vengeance is a good idea. It's two boys and their mom who realize that something pretty evil is going on next door, something pretty horrible, and the older boy comes up with a plan for a way to stop it. And it's about Naomi's character's journey as she wrestles with how she's going to handle it and whether she should handle it at all.
You know, being a mom yourself, I mean, one of the interesting explorations these movies have is how much a parent trusts a child. When a child comes to tell them something, do they believe it? Do they not believe it? How do you explore that in this film?
I've missed the last part.
How do you explore that in this film?
Well, I think every mom is always trying to do her absolute best, and she's learned pretty early on that she has a gifted child who's capable of doing certain things much better than she is, and she just sort of turns it over to him. It's not like, she's particularly struggling about being a bad parent for doing that. It's just like, you're good at that and I'm good at this, and this is the balance that works well in this home, and so they're figuring that way of living out, and then there's something that goes wrong and they're trying to fix the problem and help the people that are struggling next door, and so that's when things have to change in terms of how she parents and how she moves through those challenges.
There is always a mystique and an intrigue about next-door neighbors. That, as much as we think we know our neighbors, it's like, no, we don't really know them. There's always a little secret. How do you explore that in this?
Well, we do. I mean, it's a very classic conflict, and in the end, I think you can probably tell already that we're very cautious about answering questions because there are turns in this movie that no one's going to see coming, and it doesn't take you to a fantastical place. There's no visual effects. It's not that. It's just that the journey all these characters go on is really unexpected. And I think these days, when you need people to come to a theater and go to see a movie on the big screen, you need to surprise them, and you need to pull the rug out occasionally, and so that's what we're trying to do.
Just the last question for you, Naomi. You've obviously lived in various locales. Have you had interesting neighbors? Have you ever had somebody that you didn't quite understand?
Oh yeah, I'm sure along the way. I can't think of one in particular. I think weirdly, and even in New York, you live very sort of close together, but yet you don't relate as much relations with your neighbors in the way you used to. But I have memories of growing up where you just always popping your head over the fence. There's different ways of doing it now, social media and things like that. But yeah, I think neighbors, it's nice when you feel welcomed, definitely.